Welcome to the 147th Greencastle High School Commencement Ceremony. As I stand here looking at all the graduates, I think, wow, all the things that you've accomplished throughout this year, whether it's in the academics or on the playing surfaces with community service, or whether it's something within your churches, you guys have accomplished so much. Parents, families, community members, loved ones, thank you. Because of you, these graduates are able to be here today
thank Mrs. Munoz-Thiede and members of the Greencastle High School and middle school bands for the prelude this evening. We would like to extend our appreciation to Ms. Dessa Frank and our art students who prepared an exhibit of their works located in the lobby of McAnally Center. As president of the class of 2026, I would like to welcome you to 147 commencement of Greencastle High School. We would like to recognize our members of the Greencastle Board of School Trustees. President Mr. Edward Wilson, Vice President Mr. Jimmy Beasley, Secretary Mrs. Megan Inman, and board members Mr. Isaac Case and Ms. Catherine Dory. I would also like to recognize the Superintendent of Greencastle Schools, Mr. Jeff Givney, the Assistant Superintendent of Greencastle Schools, Ms. Rebecca McPherson, and the Principal of Greencastle High School, Mrs. Yolanda Goodpasture. And the Assistant Principal, Mr. Adam McNichol. Finally, I would like to recognize senior class sponsor, Ms. Diana Myers, and my fellow officers, Lillian Welch, Penelope Cummings, Claire Langdock, and the rest of the GSS faculty and staff. Class, this graduation was well deserved, as we have overcome many hardships to get here. I mean, think about it. We didn't have a normal year of school from 5th grade year until our junior year. 5th grade, we had mold at TZ. 6th grade, we had a pandemic. 7th grade, we had hybrid school. 8th grade, people still had COVID and missed a lot of school. 7th grade, we had construction. And 10th grade, we still had construction. Every student has experienced a fair share of disappointment and upset, including me. I'll never forget when I watched Batman for the first time, and I said to my mom, "Mom, when I grow up, I want to be Batman." She said, "Bryson, get off the couch, you graduate next week." I mean, seriously, think about how far we've come. Looking back, freshman year seemed like it was just yesterday. There was the first football game, the first class, the first girlfriend, the second girlfriend, the third girlfriend, the figuring out that you were the problem. Not me, though. Anyway, our hearts were repaired, and we grew physically and mentally. Think of all the trends we've lived through. The floss, the renegade, the sea lion. We used to think the number 21 was funny. Now it's 6'7". It's funny how things change. Street poet and philosopher Drake once said, "Oh well, guess you lose some and win some, long as the outcome is income. You know I want it all, and then some." Class, while the idea of material success does influence our lives heavily, I ask that you follow your dreams and do what makes you happy. We have had lots of fond memories during our time at Greencastle, but it's time to move on. On a more serious note, you guys have to promise me something. Whenever you walk across that stage, no matter here or college, it does not mean you will stop learning. We've lived around a fourth of our lives and are in peak physical shape. So whenever we are older and can't do the things we do now, we must look back and be okay with it because you can't control it. However, we don't peak mentally the same we do physically. And this should bring you comfort and knowing in the fact that you can always be progressing your mind. You should take pride in being able to adapt to the world around you and being wise. Because what is wisdom? Wisdom is seeing what everyone else sees, but thinking what no one else thinks. And that will be what makes you grow as a person. The best piece of advice that I can give to you has to do with the Greek myth Sisyphus. Sisyphus was cursed to roll a rock up an impossible mountain for the rest of eternity, which is exactly how I felt doing one trick problem. Anyway, one of my favorite quotes is, "One must imagine Sisyphus happy." This is my favorite quote because even though Sisyphus' existence is essentially meaningless, he never gives up. He finds meaning and keeps trying because it's all he can do. So whenever you're banging your head into your desk at college or working the graveyard shift, remember that anything worth doing is going to be hard, and you can find purpose in anything if you really wanted to. I'm sure you will all leave a big footprint on the earth, and I wish you the best. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. Thank you, class of 2026. Now, it is my honor to introduce one co-salutatorian of Greencastle High School, class of 2026, Penelope Cummings. Penelope will receive her salutatorian medal from Miss Amy Berry.
Good evening, friends, families, faculty, and congratulations, fellow classmates. Today's graduating class began our freshman year at Greencastle High School in the fall of 2022. Those of us who have been in the school corporation for a while, however, actually took our first classes at GHS 8 years ago when we were in 5th grade. For those of you who don't know, in 2018, because of an issue with mold, students at Tezonicus Intermediate School were temporarily relocated to other schools around town. For the class of 2026, that school was Greencastle High School. For 2 months, we learned about U.S. history, fractions, and food webs right here in McAnally. When it was time for our turn to TZ, I remember the school giving each student a going-away gift, a small circular pin which had a picture of a tiger cub and read, "I'll be back, GHS, fall of 2022. I remember looking at the numbers on the pin and thinking about how far away the year 2022 seemed. It didn't sound real. Today, we are just as far from 2022 as we were in 5th grade. But instead of looking forward into the unknown, we can look back on 4 years packed full of memories. I cherish the time I've spent with friends, from discussing space junk in AP Lang, to filming TikToks before soccer games, doing yoga in AP Chemistry, sharing a giant chocolate chip cookie during lunch, and, of course, drawing pictures of Abraham Lincoln for Mr. Wilson's bulletin board. Since the fall of freshman year, and even since the start of kindergarten, 9 years before that, we have made so many memories and learned so many lessons from each other and from our teachers. Today, though, I want to focus on one specific lesson I learned this spring. In French class, we read a book called The Little Prince. The Little Prince is a fantasy story about a boy who travels from planet to planet, meeting new people and gaining new understandings at each one. On his home planet, this boy has a flower, a rose, which is very important to Sven. He spends his days caring for the rose, watering it, protecting it from the wind, and ensuring that it doesn't get eaten by sheep. One day, during his travels, he stumbles upon a bush full of roses that all look identical to his own. The boy is confused. He loves his rose, and all of these flowers look just like his rose, but he doesn't feel the same way about them. An insightful fox tells the boy, "It is the time which you have spent with your rose that makes your rose so important." In other words, even though the boy's rose looks exactly like all of the other flowers, his relationship with his rose makes it unique. This relationship is a result of all of the time he has spent with his rose. In looking at our high school experiences, I notice a similarity to this part of the story. Whether the members of today's graduating class have been able to spend 13 years together or even just one, each second has contributed to the unique relationships that we all share. Whether spending extended time together in classes, at practices, at rehearsals, at lunch, or even sitting bored together while watching a convocation or listening to a graduation speech, relationships are built from time spent together. I'm so grateful for all of the time I've been able to spend with everyone sitting here today and all of the relationships that I've built because of it. I would like to end my speech today with a thank you to the 3 people with whom I've spent the most time in my life. Thank you, Mom, for teaching me to be committed and curious. Thank you, Dad, for teaching me to be compassionate and creative. And Harvey, you're seriously the best brother and friend I could ask for. Thank you for all the times you've made me laugh. Now, it is my honor to introduce you to the other co-salutatorian of the Greencastle High School class of 2026, Lillian Welch. Lillian will receive her salutatorian medal from Miss Kara Jadell.
Good evening, everyone. Standing here tonight, I am struck by a frightening realization. I am absolutely terrified of what comes next. In a few minutes, we'll be handed a piece of paper that says we are ready for the world, when in reality, maybe not so much. But nonetheless, we are here. When I sat down to write this speech, I had no clue what to say. I stared at a blank document for quite some time, and to be fully transparent, I'm still unsure of what I want to share. I'm 18, standing before all of you, pretty freaking clueless. I don't have any wisdom to impart or any deeply insightful knowledge to pass along. I don't have the secrets of life figured out or the perfect career plan or any idea at all how to navigate the world waiting for us outside these hallways. But there's one thing I know for certain. I am profoundly grateful to have grown up with the people in this gymnasium. From ages 5 to 18, Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 3:15 every afternoon, we learned together. We played tag at Ridpath and Deer Meadow, had putting on the hits at TZ, endured the middle school awkward phase, and we survived the longest high school construction remodel ever. Together, we have faced adversity and struggles, cried, laughed, hugged, and we made some pretty awesome memories along the way. Earlier this week, at our senior picnic, the class of 2026 walked out to the football field with a parachute, the same one we all looked forward to using during gym class as little kids when we attended TZ. Sitting under the safety of that giant rainbow-colored dome, I caught a glimpse of our younger selves, the 8, 9, 10-year-old kids who weren't envisioning graduation or college or employment or even simply a life beyond school. Growing up and leaving home was a fictional concept, something we would talk about so far off in the future, almost intangible, that perhaps we never really believed it would happen. Those starry-eyed kids dreaming big dreams of leaving home, becoming astronauts, firefighters, ballerinas, architects, and artists. Of course, all of us were immediately millionaires, living in lavish mansions, driving our fancy sports cars. By the way, in anticipation of my new immediate millionaire status, I've already ordered my Bentley. So if anyone is curious, I have a 2010 Toyota Camry with 218,000 miles on it for sale. We can connect after the ceremony. We were little kids dreaming big dreams, big goals, big hopes, so much promise and possibility. Our potential was not yet defined by the cost of college or a tank of gas, or hampered by the reality of how far we must go to realize our goals, not held back by the difficulty of our dreams. We were free to think and feel and dream as bold and grand as wanted, and we did. Sure, those dreams were foolish and childish and didn't take into account the real world, but those dreams count for something. And they're everything, actually. Our dreams, our challenges, our goals and aspirations, no matter how they've changed or evolved from 5 to 18, they're the purpose of our very being and existence. Like I said, I have no wisdom to impart, but I have a wish. Sitting under that parachute, I wish all of us will continue to dream, and then with everything in us, chase those dreams. I know the world may push us to the predictable path, but settling dims our spark. And let's be honest, the world desperately needs your specific light, your unique empathy, and your boldest ideas. So here we are, and we didn't get here alone. To our parents, guardians, and families, thank you. Thank you for your endless patience, for driving us to practices, for comforting us through failures, and for celebrating our smallest victories. You gave us the roots to grow and the wings to fly. We owe this milestone to your unconditional love and sacrifice. To my own parents, Dad, I don't know what I'm going to do next year without your constant goofiness and baked chicken, and of course, the platter full of fruit I constantly get to come home to. I'll miss our little talks about everything and nothing, and I hate that you'll be Oscar's favorite when I'm gone. Mom, I don't think I can truly express just how grateful I am. I can confidently say I wouldn't be where I am today without a role model like you. Your support has meant everything, and I am so incredibly lucky to have such a strong, resilient woman guiding me. Thank you. Sam, you're the best little brother I could ever ask for. And even if I say otherwise, I will miss you so much next year. To my classmates, today not only marks the day we transition from students to alums, but the day we no longer grow as one class, but rather individuals. As we turn our tassels, I encourage you to carry that little kid with you, honoring their hopes and innocence. Hold your younger self close to your heart as a guide in your future endeavors. As we look forward, don't forget to look back. Don't forget the people, experiences, memories that have shaped us thus far. Don't forget where you came from, the hallways and teachers and classes that have prepared us for what's outside these walls. Be foolish, be childish, and don't forget to dream big. Make those little kids proud. Now it is my honor to introduce you to our valedictorian of the Greencastle High School class of 26, Bailey Vaughn Bogus. Bailey will receive her valedictorian medal from Mr. Donovan Wheeler.
Good evening. My name is Bailey Vaughn Bogus. I'm honored to address you today as the valedictorian of this graduating class. I stand here wouldn't be Greencastle without something like that happening, right? I stand here today, humbled by everyone's presence. Thank you to all of the caregivers, family, and friends who showed up today and have contributed to who we are. Your attendance tonight and your presence over the years is more than appreciated. It is invaluable. Before I reveal to you the true subject and nature of this speech, I have some obligatory but much deserved thank yous to make. Sure, all us graduates have a laundry list of people we could thank. But for me, two people stand above the rest. My parents, Jana and Jeff Bogus. They've taught me countless lessons, from how to balance what feels like an impossible schedule, to the intricacies of oil economics, to how to create the perfect mac and cheese, to how to tie my shoes. Above all, my parents taught me the delicate balance of humility and confidence, success and failure, and perseverance and burnout. They've instilled in me a mindset of both humility and determination, compelling me to walk into every room knowing I'm not the smartest or the most naturally gifted, but that I can always work the hardest. That lesson about hard work is the reason I stand in front of you today as the valedictorian. So, Mom and Dad, thank you. To my fellow graduates, you know this year has been hard. It's been more than just hard. It's been challenging, stressful, existential, sentimental, oddly welcoming, and overall exhausting. We've navigated intensely difficult classes and demanding coursework, grueling practices and intimate team dynamics, and the terrifying questions of where we want to go and who we want to be. Despite our differences, those unique experiences unite us more than we think. With that in mind, it's important for me to tell each of you that you are all, in your own right, brilliant. Sure, I got the grades and I took the hard classes, but for so long, I have admired many of your artistic talents, athletic discipline, leadership, creativity, humor, resilience, and compassion. Many of you possess strengths I have envied for a very long time. Now, I'd like to reintroduce you to two words you may not have heard in a while: grace and nuance. Grace, an unearned gift of forgiveness and encouragement stemming from incomprehensible humility and goodwill. Nuance, the complexity present in each situation that emerges from sought-out context, careful attention, and questioning assumptions. In most cases, we do not like these words. We prefer extremes, single-sided truth, revenge, and labeling others as wrong or even evil and ourselves as right or righteous. We want to believe we are on the right side of everything and point fingers at the other side. Nuance and grace cannot survive in such an environment. This movement away from grace and nuance is not some accident. It is the natural byproduct of the modern systems we both inhabit and support. These larger-than-life, zero-sum systems support extremes. They want reactionary outrage and black-and-white thinking. From attention-driven algorithmic platforms such as the news and social media, to rigid ideological tribes such as political parties and social silos, our society has traded grace and nuance for polarization, hatred, and echo chambers. Apart from overarching themes of modern humanity, many of us also don't reserve grace or nuance in our personal lives. I certainly didn't throughout high school. I remember walking away from conversations frustrated at another for saying something that upset me. Or I'd get dramatically upset at a B or even a C on a calculus test, resulting in tears, thoughts of how stupid I was, and spirals of frustration. I never allowed myself or even others room for error, and when mistakes happened, I met them with harsh judgment. This wasn't discipline, it was condemnation. And I think many people prescribe to this way of life, just at varying degrees. However, human nature is nuanced. No part of us is black or white. Everyone has a story, a reason, a context, whether good or bad. The truth is, you're not always going to know what to say. You will not do everything perfectly. You will make mistakes. You will regret things. You will disappoint people and be disappointed. Things will not go your way, and at times, you may feel lost or uncertain about your purpose. However, you must recognize the complexity present in both yourself and others and extend grace accordingly. Everyone has failed. Everyone has been wrong. Everyone has needed forgiveness at some point. And that absence of grace and nuance has helped create the world we live in, often extreme, unforgiving, and divided. But we can choose differently. We can choose to lead lives grounded in grace and nuance. All it takes is a change in approach. When you find yourself disagreeing with another, ask them questions. No, I'm not talking about the questions you'd ask a witness in a cross-examination or ones you think will lead another into a gotcha moment. I'm talking about the open-ended questions that result in understanding deeper beliefs, experiences, and perspectives. Simply put, you can ask, for example, what led you to that conclusion, rather than how could you think that way? Don't break yourself into categories. Life rarely reduces to simple binaries. Acknowledge complexity and recognize that opposing perspectives often hold valid truths. Step away from generalizations. Focus on specific details and circumstances of the person or issue standing right in front of you. Recognize that everyone is navigating their own hidden struggles. And extend that same grace inward. Let go of the need for perfection, achievement, or popularity. Forgive yourself. Learn from mistakes instead of punishing yourself for them. Each of these practices takes time. You will fail at them. I know I already have, and I will continue to. There will be moments when frustration feels easier than understanding, when judgment feels easier than compassion, and when affirmation feels easier than humility. But grace and nuance are disciplines. Even more, they are choices. As Aristotle wrote, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Nuance and grace are built meaningfully and intentionally, day by day, conversation by conversation, mistake by mistake. An easy way to begin building that habit is with the people sitting next to you today. Many of us were misunderstood, excluded, embarrassed, overlooked, or hurt by people in this very room. And whether we meant to or not, many of us have done the same to others. So I ask you, take a step back. Look at the situation. Look at yourself. Look at the other person. And have the conversation or simply apologize. Imagine how different things would be if we did just that. Please, for your sake and for those around you, start here in your backyard. As we leave this school and enter a world that often values certainty over curiosity, I encourage you, resist that pull. I hope we choose differently. I hope we choose to listen before we condemn, to ask before we assume, and to remember the humanity present in the people around us and ourselves. None of us will live perfect lives. However, we can live thoughtful ones, compassionate ones, courageous ones. As the great American president Abraham Lincoln said in his first inaugural address in 1861, on the cusp of the Civil War, we are not enemies, but friends. We must not be enemies. Though passion may have strained, it must not break our bonds of affection. The mystic chords of memory will swell again when touched, as surely they will be by the angels of our better nature. Before we leave, I want to say this simply. Congratulations. We made it. Through every late night, every setback, every success, every moment of doubt, we made it here together. That alone matters. As we begin to close this chapter together, it's worth remembering everything we've talked about only matters if we carry it forward with us beyond this moment. If we carry grace and nuance into our families, friendships, workplaces, communities, we can live this out in a more applicable way. This should not simply stay in this room. We should take it into our futures. And maybe, just maybe, if we do, we can leave this world a little more patient, a little more understanding, and a little more human than we found it. At this time, we will hear from Ms. Ross Hansen and the members of the Greencastle High School choirs. They will be singing the song, "Oh Love" by Elaine Hagenberg. Thank you, Mr. Hanson and members of the Greencastle High School choirs. It is a tradition at GHS for the senior class to select a teacher to make the teacher's address. It is my honor to introduce Mr. Isaac Combs, GHS History and Economics teacher.
Class of 2026, congratulations. You spent the last 13 years in school building to this moment and special day. I hope you take it in and celebrate with your classmates and families. I'd also like to thank you for selecting me to share a few words of reflection and advice. You guys were freshmen my very first year in teaching and at Greencastle, many of which I had in class. So you're the first class I've seen complete all 4 years of high school. So this moment in this class means a bit more to me. My hope today is to share a message that you can reflect on. And as you seniors and other students know, I couldn't make this speech without featuring a quote from a movie. The quote comes from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It reads, "Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it." I've seen this film countless times, but something about it just clicked for me when I watched it a few months ago. Because life does move fast, and it's about to move even faster for you now. And it made me think that the moments or memories I remember the most are never the big ones. It's always the small stories and brief moments that stick with you. This quote reminds us to stay in the present and enjoy the moments with each other. My main message for you today then is to stop and embrace the moments and friends around you. In today's culture and world of instant gratification, everything is measured. Your grades, stats, wins, followers, likes, and so on and so forth. But some of the best parts and most enjoyable parts of life are never measured or recognized. So, I urge you to stop and embrace those tiny moments you share with others, because that's where real life happens. Your results, your wins, your celebrations, or any measurable are the culmination of the everyday moments that you build and take part in with others. Constantly worrying about the end results makes you forget about what got you here in the first place. And let me be honest, you may not remember this day when reflecting on your high school days, but I bet you will remember the bus rides, the team meals, the competitions, the senior pranks, the funny moments in class, your favorite teachers, you name it. Results might give you validation, but moments in relationships give you meaning. Embrace your friendships, embrace the tough days, make every day mean something. The most meaningful part for me as a teacher isn't the high test scores or any recognition or measurable, but the relationships I've created with all of you and all the moments we shared the past 4 years. And I cherish those every day. It's the moments I share with you that gives me meaning as a teacher, and it's the best part of my job. And that's advice for you today. Look for meaning in your relationships, in the moments you share with friends, colleagues, community, and family. Life goes by too fast to get caught up in results or worry about the future or next steps. And I know that's hard to do. We all get caught up in the future. That's normal. You should have goals, things you want to accomplish, places you want to be. All of that is extremely important, and I want you to chase those things. But don't let the future steal from the present. It's It's easy to get lost in the day-to-day and the grind, but that's where most of life happens. Losing sight of that is losing sight of the moments that give life meaning. So, class of 2026, or as I start every class, chat. Enjoy the moments, enjoy the friendships, and don't let life pass you by. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Combs. Seniors, are you ready? It's now time for you to come forward to receive your recognition and receiving your diplomas. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Adam McMickle, the Assistant Principal of Greencastle High School.
Bryson Carter Warman. Bailey Vaughn Bogus. Penelope Faye Cummings. Lillian Nicole Welch. Keely Rebecca Amos. Rowan Sky Amos. Dylan Joseph Archer. Ava Marie Batten. Sky Lynn Bean. Toby Felix Benedicts. Deacon Thomas Burge. Caden Joseph Blodgett. Austin Paul Blue. Orion Gary Bowser. Bailey Elizabeth Brown. Isabel Kathleen Camera Adorno. Lexi Camera Adorno. Zaire Ahmed D'Angelo Canty. Emily Ann Cavaness. Cameron Austin Clontz. Logan Reed Cochran. Benjamin Randy Kofer. Gavin Thomas Caldwell. Jasmine Nicole Conley. Gracelyn Elizabeth Connell. Danessa Danielle Cook. Zoe Ann Cope. Anna Louise Cox. Mackenzie Lynn Creviston. Ashton Reed Dayhuff. Eliana Marie Den. Trace Allen Dunscombe. Kenneth Lee Early. Joseph Dwayne Eastham. Griffin Monroe Edwards. Sophia Ann Endicott. Temperance Marie Evans. Mika Owen Foss. Colton Manning Fox. Jocelyn May Noel Gardner. Maddox James Gibbons. Samuel Martin Gooch. Cooper Scott Grable. Anastasia Nicolette Graham. Madeline Jade Lane Grice. Alexander Joseph Grove. Lenora Pearl Hale. Colleen Elizabeth Halloran. David Edward Robert Hanks. Samuel Scott Hanlon. Allison Renee Hassler. Isabel Michelle Hatfield. Dylan Jean Havey. Rachel Faith Hebert. Annabelle Jean Heck. Ian Riley Haymick. Bailey Renee Hickey. Hallie Danielle Homler. Mona Julianne Horvath. Elijah Mark Johnson. Eleanor Margaret Knuth. Allison Elizabeth Landry. Claire Marie Langdock. Mason Samuel Lockridge. Cameron Eli Major. Charlie Levis Martolio. Heather Colleen McFall. Gracie Jean Means. Jordan Nevea Miller. Landon James Miller. Delaney June Mail. Shane Matthew Moran. Jackson Riley Nail. Keita Noro. Rowan Rudolph O'Bannon. Liam Jude O'Neill. David James Olson. Danica Ellen Overshiner. Travis Mike Dwayne Overshiner. Haley Jude Owens. Anthony Jacob Peters. Mason Lee Pickett. Damian Garcia Plott. Addison Elizabeth Pridemore. Craig Mitchell Ray Proctor. Caden Dale Purdue. Nair Ibn Rashid. Ariana McKenzie Robinson. Kyler Elaine Rumley. Jaslyn Jade Rush. Catherine Helen Ryan Schauger. Brianna Lynn Schneider. Kaylee Renee Schwab. Ethan Malachi Shannon. Selena Nicole Shoemaker. Lucas Wayne Shrout. Matthias Fa'atea La Auli Ali Mali Toa Robbie Pauli Slagle. Zion Michael Slater. Mariah Nicole Smallwood. Jace Christopher Spidell. Viviana Lynn Steele. Connor Scott Sullivan. Nathan Todd Sutherland. Liliana Buxton Swank. Greta Matilda Zabo. Tegan May Tam. Braxton Lawrence Taylor. Peyton Charles Taylor. Tristan Luke Charles Teal. Abigail Jeanette Templeman. Mylan Lee Tucker. Shylin Ray Waffen. Jeremiah David Weir. Logan Ryan Wood. Aiden Davis Woods. Melanie Anjali York. Zoe Jaden Ray York. Tucker David Elkins. Anthony Lee Ray Pearson. Owen Lee Cooper Sorrells. Kaylin Marie McClintock.
Mr. Gibney, it is my duty and honor to present to you these students who are eligible for graduation. Upon this recommendation from the faculty of Greencastle High School, I'm pleased to report that the members of 2026 have met the requirements for graduation as set forth by the Greencastle Community School Board of Trustees and the Indiana Department of Education. Graduates, please stand. As principal, I hereby certify that these students to you as candidates for graduation. Graduates, move your tassels right to left and remain standing.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to present to you members of the 147th graduating class of Greencastle High School, the class of 2026.